Tonight we're talking about 10, at least 10 key questions that I want you to answer before tonight ends. I want you to call me 1-877-275-2376. That's 1-833 Ask Afro. I want to hear my phone ring. Don't make me beg. I will continue to ask and beg because I want to know your questions. You're going to have some questions that you think need to be answered before the end of the year. But these are just things that I thought about. Like, these would be good for you to make sure that you indeed address tonight, tomorrow, as soon as possible, but definitely before the end of 2018. Can you do that for me? Can you make sure you do that for me? Yes, indeed. I got a new camera. Can you tell? It's brighter, but it's huge. It's much bigger. So I'm trying to adjust like where I want it to be located. and I'm having heels. I have heels on, but it's probably better that I do. But technology is our friend, because if you speak ill of technology, it will do bad things to you. So we're going to show love, mad love to the technology. Everything is working great. So our key things that we want to accomplish, these key questions that we want to have answered before the year ends. What do we want to make sure that we do? So I'm going to randomly share with you my notes, but not too much because I get excited and I start putting the white screen up all the time. And I got this little paint tool also that I have. But I do want to let you know that, oh, thank you everyone for saying hi to me. All right now, that's right, Miss Hayes. How are you? Thank you so much, both of you. I see my link now. Miss Hayes, you call me at 1-833-275-2376. Miss Wanda, 833 Ask Afro. What are the questions that you want to have answered in your life before the end of 2018? Right? What are these things? Do you want to ask yourself, like, where do you want to be 5 years from now? What do you want to accomplish? What if your life were ending tomorrow? What would you want to make sure that you had done before your life ended? Now, these aren't my questions, but what are your questions that you have for yourself? So, think about these things and you share those with me. And then I'm going to tell you mine. Now, 10 key questions that I want to encourage you to answer before this year ends, because you may not be able to answer them before we finish. But my first one is, what is your net worth? Do you understand how we calculate net worth? Do you know your net worth? Your assets minus your liabilities, your net worth. Do you know what it is? Make sure that you take advantage of the time to talk to me about what is your net worth. Make sure we discuss that before the year ends. I can help you know that number. Whenever I ask someone a question like that and they kind of go, that means they don't know, because you either know or you don't. These are the things that I want my AfroEconomics members to know. That's why the first thing that we start working on is information gathering, because that's what we're putting together. We want to create and build on that positive net worth. A second question is, are you investing in yourself and your family to increase, are you investing in your family and yourself to increase your income potential? A key goal for me, for us, for 2019 is to focus on income increase. We always think about, I always think about, like, let's get rid of debt, let's pay off debt, and that's cool. But what are we going to do to increase that top line? What steps can you start taking now to increase your income? We're going to address that. That is, so what are you doing to make sure that your young people, your children, are getting the training, getting the information, getting the opportunities that they need? What are you doing to make sure that you are getting the access, the training, the information, the knowledge? I don't want to always say or let us scapegoat and feel that we always have to go into some academic institution to get these income producing opportunities. Because a lot of times we're going back to school and we're taking ourselves off the highway of income and slowing ourselves down because you're getting into the classroom at an age where you need to be maximizing your income. So even if you're doing something and it's after hours, you have to make sure, like, what type of income potential is this introducing to you? So make sure that you check out that chapter, commercial, check out that chapter in the book about, knowledge and making sure that you're managing how much it's costing you to get that knowledge. What are some creative, inexpensive ways to increase our income? And then a third question I want you to ask yourself is, do you have an emergency fund? Do you have the proper amount of emergency fund? A fourth point, do you understand your tax return? Probably the most frequent question that I ask is about your tax return. And most people aren't familiar with what they paid last year, why they had to pay last year, why they incurred penalties last year. They're not familiar with their tax return. They don't understand the different schedules. They don't understand the new upcoming tax laws, how they're going to impact them. These are the conversations that we're supposed to have. Do you understand your tax return? Understand, don't let this tax year end without knowing your tax liability before you get into next year. Because there's so many people that say, oh, if I had realized this before the year ended. Well, here we are. It's October. Let's do what we have to do. Did you have a liability last year? It's time to plan. Don't do the same thing again. And then, do you know, so these questions that we've had so far, in summary, for all of you who just got here, what is your net worth? Are you investing in yourself and your family to increase their income and yours? Do you have an emergency fund? Is it the appropriate amount? Do you understand your tax return? Are you tax planning? And 5, do you know your investment risk score? Boom! Do you know? There are so many people upset this week because the market has been drawing back, not the people who I manage, because we have them. It is my goal in life to make sure that my people may have a question, but my clients whom assets I manage, the point is to know their risk score, their risk tolerance. There's some people that have even a high risk score, but because I know their psychology, their family, their values, because I know that, I'm going to manage their risk appropriately based on everything, not just that risk score that computer told me. So you have so many things that come into play, but the basis of it is, do you even know your risk score? Do you even know what it looks like on paper? Have you thought about why it's important? If you're investing and you don't know your risk score, then what are you doing? Number 6, do you know your current investment asset allocation? Right? Do you know your current investment asset allocation? How much stock exposure do you have? How much bond exposure do you have? Do you have any stock exposure? Do you have any bond exposure? Do you have any real estate exposure? Do you have any exposure? What are you exposed to? What is in your portfolio? What is your current asset allocation? What are you doing with your investments? I don't want to hear I don't know, especially not with the members of AfroEconomics. We've got to know what we're doing. Must know everything that is available to you. And this stuff takes work, effort, determination, tenacity. Sometimes it takes like 5 or 6 meetings for us to get to the core of who we're asking this person, getting that information, getting that calculated, getting that thing, going over there. It is, but we're in it to win it. We're in it to win it. We're gonna die trying. We're not gonna give up. Let's do this. A 7th point, do you know your estimated retirement income, say at age 65? Do you know your estimated retirement income at age 65? And then you go like, how you doing, everybody? And then you say, how would I know that? How would you not know that? If you were 65 today, what would your sources of income be? Right? What would it be? Do you have a pension? Are you saving into a work plan? Are you saving in an individual retirement account? Or do you have a Roth IRA? Or do you have an annuity? Or do you have absolutely nothing? Or do you have CDs? Or will you qualify for Social Security? What is the criteria for qualifying for Social Security? All of that is in that video library. All those things, key ways for us to do this. That's what the benefits of membership are all about. That's what we're doing. That's why I want we need to know if you retire today, or if you retire at age 65, what is your estimated retirement income? If your job can do what their estimated is, to put it all on statements and everything now, you've got to be able to do that for yourself. How do we utilize that information? What does that mean? What are those estimates based on? What do I have to do in order to make at least that happen? What do I need to do to make more than that happen? So that's why that question is so important, because knowing what your estimated retirement income is at 65 or 66 or 67, whatever your full retirement age is, or if you're considering retiring early at 62, what is the estimated retirement income at that age? That's what we have to work on. Do you have your beneficiaries updated? I've met several people recently who found out the work changed different retirement accounts. So when they switched over to different administrators for the retirement accounts, they left their beneficiaries behind. So they had 0 beneficiaries on their work accounts. Amazing. So you need to make sure that your beneficiaries are updated on everything. Your banking accounts, your brokerage accounts, your life insurance policies, IRAs, everything. Have your beneficiaries, are they updated? If you have any questions for me or any key questions that you think that I should add to this, please let me know. Delia, let me know if anybody says anything also who I need to say hi to or that you're looking at, because I keep forgetting as well, because I love y'all. And thank you for viewing. Thank you for our AfroEconomics with JB Bryan on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you to all of the subscribers. And thank you all, the attendees in this webinar are off the chain. We even have an attendee whose name is Mere Numbers. Ms. Dickens, Mr. Bowie, Mr. Tice, Mr. McGee. Oh my goodness. Mrs. Walton, Dr. Arundel, JC, Ms. Sherman. Oh, thank you, Maurice, whose team happened to actually win. It's ridiculous. Valron. Oh, wow. Dr. Williams, indeed, and Mrs. Williams, and Ms. Wanda, indeed. Oh, my. And there's like, I can't even go down the list because, oh, and Jan, oh, my goodness. Wanda, that's nice. I don't know, you spell your name differently, but thank you. It's good to meet you. Thank you. Mr. Johnson, thank you. Yes, indeed. Well, I appreciate you all. And these are some key questions that I said it right. Thank you. I'm not going to say it again because I messed it up. But Yolanda, I hope that's right. Tell me if it's right again. But definitely, these are some key questions that I want us to address before this year ends. And I'm going to let me go from, I'm down to number 8 with do you know and do you have your beneficiaries updated? One was, what is your net worth? Are you investing in yourself and your family to increase your income? Do you have an emergency fund? Do you understand your tax return? And you know, number 2, not just, and really to belabor the point, that I think that many of us don't realize how important it is to make that investment into our young people so that they can be financially independent. That as we're raising people, as we're raising our young people, we have to remember to direct them and teach them and to live as an example for them and how on the steps that they take, even in even in elementary school, and especially in high school and middle school, on the things that these slight wrong turns and how they can impact them 10 years later. We have to invest in ourselves and invest in our family members so that they can make the maximum income and live up to their maximum income potential. And that is real. So we have to be very careful in just investing in how our children look. We have to invest in how our children think and what they think about. Do you have an emergency fund? Do you understand your tax return? Do you know your investment risk score? Do you know your current asset allocation? If you would like to get your risk score and you're not a member and you're listening to this, email me at jb@afroeconomics.com, and you can get and tell me you want to get the risk analysis, and I will give you a free risk analysis. But just this time, because it is a part of our whole membership, so hopefully it will encourage you to get involved as a member. Do you know your current asset allocation? Do you know your estimated retirement income at age 65, 66, or 67? Do you have your beneficiaries updated? And number 9, when is the last time a financial professional reviewed your investment portfolio and your fees? Do you know the answer to that? And finally, what is your greatest financial fear? And more than answering that, we need to make a point to solve it. If your greatest financial fear is outliving your savings, outliving your investments, that's a pretty cool fear, because that means that you're living right, that you're very healthy, and that you are afraid that you're going to be healthy so long that you're not going to have enough money. But we can address that because instead we want you to, because you are so healthy, because you're anticipating a long life, that we need to make sure that you're saving and investing and know your risk tolerance level and know your asset allocation and understand taxation. Because of a lot of our money, we're just giving back and giving away because we don't understand the tax strategies. Someone told me the other day, they were like, oh, I just don't like this particular politician because, they didn't even want to pay their taxes. And I said, well, I get it if you don't like the person, but to blame it on the fact that they understood the tax law, that's a stretch, because I don't like to hear us say stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of other reasons not to like somebody politically, but on the fact that they followed the law and they understood the law and they hired people to make sure that they understood the law. The law. We've got to get that attitude. Follow the rules and do it. And take full advantage of it based on the knowledge that they have put out there and set forth for you. But we avoid it instead of leaning in, getting the tax strategies, getting the information, and addressing this and knocking that tax stuff out. That taxes should not be a fear for us because we're follow the rule type of people. But being afraid to follow the rules is ridiculous. We can't do that. That's ridiculous. I don't want anybody looking at me, so I'm not gonna write that off because I don't want them to look at me. That is a legitimate deduction. That doesn't make any sense. So, what is your greatest financial fear? And let's knock it out. Let's get over it. Let's address it. Let's address that and grow from it. Indeed? Yes. Yes, indeed. Oh, I messed it up. I'm going to say just Vonda. I think that's what I got. Like, I think the Y is silent and then it's Vonda. Tell me that if that's right. Thank you so much. Your participation is great tonight. And you know what? You all should feel ashamed of yourself. Well, all of you on the phone line, you too, Barbara. Yes, indeed, for not calling me with my 1-833-275-2376, 1-833-ASK-AFRO. And every time I shut down the video, someone calls me. I go, oh yeah, JD, I just wanted to ask you, So I know that deep within yourself, you really want to ask me. And then also, this is the other thing. A lot of you do this with your phone, so you can't really call me while you're watching me. And thank you. I appreciate your commitment to watching while you watch. But now you got to have two phones. Like I have about 4 phones in this room. Like, have y'all noticed how many different phone lines I have? I text you from this, call you from that, this and that. You can't keep up with God's blessing. Just know I make sure that I'm available to you. Mr. Smith, thank you so much. Look at you. I'm so glad you are hanging out. Is this your first time doing it? I'm telling you, this one, Esther Smith, has been my client for a long time, since he was just a little something. Oh, grown up now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you have done. Thank you. I thank you. I love you and your wife. Y'all, just love y'all to death. Thank you. You all have a great night. Any questions for me before I go? Make sure you check out the Audible book. We got the podcast going on, which is now national on AURN.com, America's Urban Radio Network. Thank you. You have a great night too. Make sure you check out the book, get the podcast, get the videos, get that financial empowerment, and most importantly, get all of those questions answered. I will most likely, to you, my quiet loved ones, send you the notes from tonight so that you will I have all of these written in the notes. So for your registration and the tremendous participation, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. And I'll put it in doc form so you can kind of change it and you can add your answers to it. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I will send you the notes. You're welcome. Thank you. Have a good one. Be safe. Enjoy your week. And I'll be looking for you all on Sunday at sunrise as we talk about having the faith of a mustard seed. Thank you, Ethel. Good night.